Wet. Dirty. Miserable. Never know I'd been away at all. Reeks of murder. Senseless murder. Why did they have to be twins, Estelle and Linda? Forget it. Linda's dead. I'll just have one more look at Estelle, and that'll be the end of it. The old room. Wonder who's living in it now. Bet they never heard of Dixon or me. Guinnesses. I must have to be going in there, but, well, as long as I've gone this far, I might as well go through with it. She doesn't show, that'll be okay, too. I'll just have a beer and say hello to old Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Well, if it ain't Michael Carr. I'm glad to see you, me boy.
How you been, Tim?
Fine. You coming back to this neighborhood again?
No, just keeping a date with somebody.
Shall I guess who?
That's right.
Special occasion?
I don't know. Maybe. Haven't seen her in 6 months. After all that stuff in the papers, I figured we'd better have some time to wipe the ghosts out of our eyes. So I told her to meet me here at this bar at 8:30. 6 months from that night. This is it.
That's good.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little early.
What do you have?
2 beers, Tim.
Still up to your old tricks, huh?
Mm-hmm. Bourbon on the side for me. She probably won't even remember the day we made.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Women have memories like elephants. She was in here once or twice while you were gone.
Alone?
No. She sat there right where you're sitting now. And she says to me, 2 beers, just like you did.
Hey, Tim, 2 more the same.
Excuse me.
Wonder who she's playing around with now. As if I cared. But she did order 2 beers like old times. She must have been thinking of me. Why don't I get out of here before I get tangled up again? It's not too late.
I remember that girl very well. Say, there was a fellow by the name of Dixon mixed up in this some way, wasn't there?
Yeah, he was my roommate. So don't you read the papers?
Of course. But that was the time of the World Series, and that is pretty important, too. But all kidding aside, Mike, there was a lot of stuff in the newspapers, but I couldn't get head nor tail of it.
Nobody could.
Say, you and this Dixon were pretty good friends, weren't you?
We were in the Army together, that's all. He was my lieutenant, and I was only a corporal. Nobody in the outfit liked him very much.
You must have. Rooming with him the way you did.
That was just one of those things. I bumped into him after he got out of the hospital with a psycho discharge.
Is that so?
Yeah, he'd had a run-in with a mortar shell during the Battle of the Bulge. Blew a fountain pen clear through his shoulder and knocked him goofy. Once he found out I had the place across the street, I couldn't shake him anymore. He was scared to death to go home and have his folks see him in the shape he was in. Still used to go all to pieces ever so often. Of course, he couldn't hold down a job for very long. So all he did between spells was drink and chase around with dames. That's how he got to be my roommate. Not that I wanted any part of him, but, well, I guess that's the way it is with guys who've been in a war together. You put up with a lot of things without knowing why. Come in, Doc.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm looking for my sister Estelle Mitchell. I'm Linda.
Yeah?
Isn't this where Johnny Dixon lives?
Yeah,
Are you Mr. Carr?
that's right.
I thought she might be over here, so I just dropped around to pick her up.
Did she say she was coming over here?
Why, I thought I heard her say so to Johnny on the phone.
here?
Perhaps they're out someplace. Thanks anyway.
Wait a minute. Johnny's right here. Been sick all evening.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do?
No, thanks. Oh, come in, Doc. Good evening. Wait, I'll be with you in a minute. You fixed him up once before, Doc, so I guess you know what's wrong. He's been awful nervous lately. Anything you want, call me, will you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with Johnny? He looks awfully sick.
Oh, it's nothing serious. He'll be okay tomorrow. Shall I tell him you were here?
I'd rather you didn't. I'm a little embarrassed about the whole thing. Well,
Tell me. Something I don't quite understand. Why should Johnny be going out with your sister if he's always talking about you?
I guess you don't know my sister.
No, I guess I don't. Wait, I'll take you home.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Carr.
Mike.
Johnny's told me a lot about you. He says you're the only friend he has.
Sure you don't want me to take you home?
No, thanks. It's only a couple of blocks.
Okay.
Night.
Night. That was Linda. I might have known that she looked exactly like her sister Estelle. After all, they were twins. Only Linda was the nicer of the two. And I lied to her when I told her I didn't know Estelle because I did. I found out later that Linda went straight home after she left me. Her mother and sister were in the middle of an argument about Dixon.
You never think of me, do you? Sitting here worrying myself sick, not knowing where you are half the time. And so many dreadful things happening to girls nowadays. Just you wait, young lady, until you have a daughter of your own. Maybe then you'll understand.
Oh, for Pete's sakes, Mother. Don't you think I'm old enough to take care of myself?
At it again, huh?
I had to work late. Johnny came along and wanted to bring me home, so I let him. He's crazy about me. What's wrong with that?
You'll be the death of me, Ed.
Boy, crazy.
I thought he was supposed to be in love with Linda.
Can I help it if he likes me better?
I don't know this Dixon, but he's a fool if he lets you go.
Nice of you to think so, Alec. Sorry I messed up our movie date.
Oh, that's all right. I played cards with your mother for a while.
Alec Trimholt had been living with the Mitchells for years and was just like one of the family. The girls never got along, but now that Estelle knew that Johnny Dixon had given her the gate for Linda, she made up her mind to break him up. That's probably why she left the gold bracelet on the dressing table, so Linda would see it.
Is this something new? What do you care? Got a new boyfriend again? If you're really interested to know, it's from Johnny Dixon.
Is that where you were tonight? With Johnny?
Any objections?
You're lying, Estelle. Am I hurting you, dear? For your information, he never went out of his house tonight. He was sick.
So that's where you were, spying on me. Get out of here! Johnny didn't give you this bracelet. You forged. And he never asked you to marry him. I'm certain of that. Who are you trying to kid? We grew up together. Only you always got the best of everything. Well, I've stopped giving up to you. From now on, I'm taking my share of everything. And I'm beginning with Johnny Dixon.
If I want Johnny, I don't have to ask you for it. Okay. If you've decided you really want him, you can have him.
Over my dead body.
I'll remember that, darling.
Funny how I got dragged into this mess. The next night, I was all settled down to do some studying when Dixon came home with other ideas.
Hi. Hi.
Say, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Estelle said she had to see me tonight. She said it was important. She's coming up here.
Estelle, huh? Don't tell me you're going to start that all over again.
No, it's just that I'm scared of that dame, I tell you. I don't want her framing me into something. I'm nuts about Linda, and I don't want anything to happen to spoil that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to see her.
Why didn't you tell her to meet you at Tim's or someplace like that?
It was her idea coming up here. I guess she doesn't want anybody to see us together. And that's all right with me.
Now, that sure messes up my studying for Tuesday's class.
Look, I know it's a big favor I'm asking, but I've got to do it. It's important. I can't go to her house with her mother and Linda around. Don't you see how it is, Mike?
What time's she coming?
8:30.
It's almost set now. Okay.
Thanks.
Don't let it get to be a habit. The sooner I get this book work done, the sooner I'll get a better job with more dough. I'm trying to get someplace, and that's more important to me than all your dames.
Won't happen again, Mike. Don't be sore, will you? Here. Take this 5 and take in a show and get yourself a couple of drinks.
Forget it.
Thanks, anyway.
Estelle. To show you what kind of a dame she was, she started to make a play for me while she was still chasing around with Dixon. Then when he dropped her and switched over to Linda, she and I started going together. I knew there was no future in it, but it was just one of those things when a guy knows it's all wrong but still can't let go of it.
Oh, Mike, you scared the life out of me.
Where you going?
I gotta talk to Johnny
What about?
about Linda. Mother asked me to.
Your mother asked you to, huh?
Well, you're hurting me. Mother wants Johnny to stay away from Linda. She thinks he's no good for her.
What about yourself?
I don't get you.
Where'd you get this?
Like it?
Where'd you get it?
I bought it myself.
You mean Johnny Dixon bought it for you?
Why,
Don't lie to me. I saw it on his dresser. I live with the guy, you cheap little chiseler.
I didn't ask him to give it to me.
You and Dixon make a fine pair.
I'm not gonna just stand here and let you insult me.
I'm not gonna let you push me around any longer, yeah?
I'm not, Mike. Johnny and I are all washed up. I was just going up there to give him back his bracelet and to tell him that Linda's crazy about him and ask him not to hurt her. You know how he is.
Give me that piece of junk.
Why?
I'll handle this, and I'll tell him a few more things.
Like what?
But if he fools around with you on the side any longer, I'll knock his teeth out.
It's okay with me. Just as long as you love me, Mike. You do, don't you?
I don't know. Let's go somewhere.
Where to?
We'll see.
Hiya, Mike. Hiya, little lady.
Hi, Tim.
What'll it be?
2 beers.
Coming up.
Let's play the machine, huh? Let me pick one.
Go ahead.
Do you know that we've been out for over 2 hours?
So what?
I better phone Mother. You know how she worries. Got another nickel? Thanks.
Hello? Who's that?
This is Estelle. I've got to see you. I'll meet you in about half an hour.
I can't. I'm busy.
Who's up there? You're lying. I'll bet it's Linda.
No. No, I'm telling you the truth. No, nobody. Well, make it an hour. Yeah. Okay.
He was one of the greatest fighters I ever saw. Why, there was no one that could touch him.
I've got to go home, Mike. Mother's all alone and she's worried.
How much, Tim?
4 bits.
Why don't you stay and finish your beer? I'll get home all right.
I'll take you.
I think I better go home alone, Mike. It's only a couple of blocks. Mother will be watching from the window. I'll meet you here tomorrow night. We can have the whole evening together. How about it?
Is that the way you want it?
Yes, darling.
Okay.
Good night.
Night. I didn't trust her as far as you can throw a boxcar. I was jealous. All eaten up inside. I'd been gone 3 hours, with enough happening to mess up the lives of 6 people.
Who is it?
Mike.
Hi.
Hi.
Didn't we have another jug around here someplace?
Don't look at me. I didn't drink it. Boy, you really must have been putting it away.
What of it?
Nothing. These shoes won't be dry for a week. How'd you keep yours so dry?
You didn't have to clear out of here after all. Estelle never showed up.
Here. Maybe you can get your dough back on it.
How'd you get it?
Still,
She tell you to give it to me?
that was my idea. Thought you two were all through.
We are. I was going to give it to Linda, but when we had a fight last week, I gave it to Estelle instead. Thought I'd bear her up a little. How do you figure in this?
Stella and I have been going together ever since you made your switch to Linda. Any objections?
Well, that's okay with me. You could have her.
Thanks. Now that you know, would you mind sticking to one thing?
You better tell that to Estelle, too.
I'll handle that.
Well, I think I'll run over to Max and get a quick one.
Better take your own key. I'm going to bed.
Got it.
Hello? Who? Hello, Estelle. What? Linda hasn't showed yet, huh?
This is Mrs. Mitchell. Linda wouldn't stay out like this. I've been pacing the floor until I just can't stand it anymore. I've even been down to the corner 3 times to see if I could see her coming. I demand to speak to Mr. Dixon.
He said he was just going down to the corner, but he hadn't come back yet.
Don't try to cover up for him, Mike. Tell Johnny it's Estelle and I want to talk to him.
Say, look, Estelle. I wouldn't kid you about this. I know how worried you are, and I'd like to help you, but Johnny just isn't here.
If Linda isn't home in 15 minutes, we're going to call the police.
That's what I'd do if I were you. I'm sorry. Yeah. Good night. About time you turned up. You go down for a quick one, you stay half the night. Why didn't you tell me Linda was up here?
What's the matter?
She didn't get home from here tonight. You better get over to this phone and call up her mother, because the last thing she said, she was going to call out the cops.
Where is she?
How do I know? Better call up her old lady and tell her something, though.
No use of my talking to her mother. I can't tell her anything.
Do it yourself. You're going to have the cops on your trail.
But I didn't do anything.
Who said you did? Where were you, McGinnis's? What's the matter with you tonight? Can't you talk? Johnny, you got to do something about this. You let that girl go home alone, she never got there. Here they are. Cop just came in.
Mike, you gotta stick by me.
What do you mean I gotta stick by you?
If they should ask you if you saw her leave, tell them that you did. Tell them that you came along just in time to see me at the front door and put her in a taxi.
What are you trying to do, make a liar out of me? I didn't see her.
I know you didn't. But don't you see the way it is now? No one saw her leave here. She ends here.
Your shoes were bone dry when I came in. You sure you took her down and put her in a cab?
No, I didn't. I was ashamed to let you think I was heel enough not to take her home. But we had a fight about Estelle, and she tore out of here like blue blazes. Then I heard her whistling from the doorway downstairs. Taxi drove up and stopped.
How do you know it was a taxi?
I got out to the balcony just as she was getting in. Is it going to hurt you to say you saw her from the corner? That's all I'm asking, Mike. Stick with me. Stick with me.
Good evening, boys.
Good evening.
Sorry to bother you, but you fellows know anything about a girl named Linda Mitchell?
Yeah, she was here. She left about 11:45.
I saw it, too. The buckle off a girl's raincoat. Linda's.
Smoke?
Thanks. You didn't take her home, then? Huh?
No, I offered to, but she wouldn't let me. She said she had a raincoat and would get a cab. You see, she was kind of sore on account of something I said. I don't know, but she wouldn't let me go with her. You know how women are when they're kind of sore.
Did you see her get in the cab?
Yeah, I was watching from the window over there.
You here, too?
No, I came in right afterwards.
Okay, thanks, boys. Good night.
Good night, Ops.
I want you to call up Mrs. Mitchell. If you had nothing to do with it, why won't you talk to her?
I can't.
What about this buckle off Linda's raincoat? What happened? Can I have another one of those, huh? I got home the next day wondering if there'd been any news of Linda and whether Estelle wanted me to keep that date with her. Hi, Jake.
Hello, Mr. Carr.
What's the trouble?
Kid trouble. They're always messing up the place. Rats.
Hello. How'd you get in here?
Jake?
What goes on?
Just waiting for you boys to come home. Which one are you, Carr?
That's right.
Trying to find out something about that girl who was up here last night.
Don't tell me you guys haven't picked her up yet.
Suppose you tell me about her.
Mind if I sit down?
Go ahead.
I've been standing up all the way home. I don't know very much. I wasn't here.
What time did you get home?
A little before 12. She had just left.
How do you know she just left? Did you see her?
Oh, as good as saw.
How do you mean?
When I came around the corner, I saw a cab in front of the house. Saw a girl run out and get in, and the cab drove away.
You sure the girl was Linda Mitchell?
I didn't say it was. Wasn't close enough to tell, and besides, it was foggy. But when I got upstairs a minute later, Dixon said she just left in a cab. Draw your own conclusions.
How well do you know the Mitchell girl?
Which one?
Linda.
Only met her once. Nice girl.
Mm-hmm. What time does Dixon usually get back?
He feels like it mostly.
Yeah? Well, I'll wait.
Make yourself at home. Say, do you mind if I step out and feed? I've been running on a malted milk since noon.
Oh, go ahead. This is just routine. Nothing serious yet.
Thanks. Say, that book you're reading, that's only volume 1. If you get through with that, I'll have volume 2 for you over here in a couple of days.
Much obliged.
Mike.
What are you doing down here?
Somebody up there, isn't there?
Yeah, a cop. He wants to ask you a few questions. Why don't you go up there and get it over with?
Oh, those guys never believe you when you tell them the truth.
Look, Johnny, you're doing this thing all wrong. Your play was to notify the cops just as soon as you found out Linda hadn't shown up yet. And if it was me, I'd have raced over there and raised Holy King with Mrs. Mitchell for having the nerve to think that you had anything to do with it.
I know. That's what I should have done. Maybe we can go over now, huh? Will you come with me, Mike?
Why do you want to get me mixed up in this thing? I've got nothing to do with it.
Please, Mike, come with me.
All right, come on, let's get it over with. Hi.
Hello.
Well, speaking of the devil,
Your mother in?
she's pretty upset. I don't think she'll buy anything you're selling.
We're not selling, we're telling.
Come on in.
Thanks.
Yes, not much else will grow out here. You'll forgive me, but you're from France, aren't you? I mean, you've not been out here very long. 5
Mother.
years.
Good evening, Mrs. Mitchell. This is Johnny Dixon.
How do you do, Mrs. Mitchell?
I just brought Johnny over.
So you're Dixon. What have you done with my daughter? What have you done with her?
Mother, let him talk.
I didn't do anything with your daughter, Mrs. Mitchell.
Get out of my house!
Get out, will you? Nora, please.
Stop.
Take it easy.
Stop.
Johnny was just trying to tell you he had nothing to do with it, Mrs. Mitchell.
Please, please.
Come on, Mike. It's no use.
Nora.
I'm sorry your mother wouldn't listen to Johnny.
You blame her?
I guess not.
Am I seeing you later?
She's pretty upset. Why don't we forget about it?
I'd like to get out of here for a little change. I've been taking care of her all day till Alec got home.
Okay, then. Same place, same time.
Sorry, Estelle. Won't you listen to me either?
I heard you.
So long.
Bye.
Hi, Tim.
Hiya, Mike. Little something to settle your dinner? Some brandy, maybe?
2 beers.
What?
2 beers.
You taking one at a time, or will you have them both together?
I'm not trying to be funny.
I've been tending bar for a good many years. I've heard of double gin, and I've heard of double whiskey, and I've heard of double or nothing. But I never heard of double beers before. What's the matter? Did you lose your job or something?
Nope. Say, Tim, was my roommate in here last night?
Dixon? Yeah. Wasn't feeling very well.
Wasn't, huh?
No, he wasn't able to finish his drink. He said his stomach was upset. Spent most of his time back there in the washroom.
Uh-huh. Say, if a little blonde comes in here looking for me, tell her to sit in front of a beer. I'll be right back.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
I was only playing a hunch. I remembered that buckle Dixon stepped on. But where was a coat? Maybe he tried to get rid of it. This wouldn't be a bad place. It was wet and dark out there. Then I saw something lying in the mud, kind of shiny with a hunk of green cloth at one end of it.
Mike Carr been in?
He certainly has. Sit there behind that beer. It's yours. He'll be back in a minute.
Good evening, Tim.
Good evening, Mr. O'Brien.
Hello, Terry. Hello, Max.
It was an old stunt I used to do when I was a kid. Put chewing gum on the end of a stick and pick up coins through a grate. It was another buckle off Linda's raincoat. Now I was sure Dixon knew more than he was telling.
Something burning in here?
Somebody must have tossed a lighted cigarette in the basket there. Just put it out. Well, I see you finally made it.
Nice of you to show up, too. You know, I don't like waiting around bars all by myself.
Any news yet?
Not a thing. Come on, let's get out of here.
Don't you want your beer?
I don't feel like it.
Okay. Night, Tim.
Oh, what a day I've been through. You saw how Mother was. Police have been in and out all day asking questions. I've tried to call everyone we know.
No trace of her, huh?
No. They checked all the taxi cab companies. Nothing. I'm going nuts. Mike, do you think Johnny had anything to do with this?
I don't know. It's pretty hysterical. He doesn't make much sense. Come on, let's go. Where'd you go last night after you left me?
Home?
You didn't go to see Johnny Dixon?
Why, no.
You weren't home when I talked to your mother the first time. Who'd you call from McGinnis's? Wasn't your mother.
Who do you think?
I've never known a dame like you.
But you kind of like me, don't you, Mike?
Frankly, I'd like to break your neck.
Why did they have her come down instead of having us bring this up here?
I don't know. Maybe she couldn't make it.
Can anybody identify these clothes?
It's Linda's. Linda's raincoat.
Are you Mrs. Mitchell?
Mother!
I didn't stick around to ask any questions. All I wanted was to get out of there. It made me kind of sick because I knew what it meant.
Is that you, Mike?
What's the matter?
They had me down at headquarters. I thought they never were going to let me go.
You acted down there like you've been acting around here. It didn't do yourself much good.
No, I guess I didn't.
Don't you know yet what's happened?
What?
Linda's dead. Yeah, I just left the Mitchells. They had her clothes over there for identification. I saw the raincoat she was wearing. Just like the one you stepped on, remember?
Where'd you get those?
What do you think?
Mike, you don't think I did it, do you? Why, I was so crazy in love with that girl I couldn't see straight. I tried to tell her so last night, but she thought I was still going for Estelle. We had an awful fight, and she tore out of here. I tried to hold her, to talk to her. But she wrenched out of my hand and left those buckets. I don't know why, but I had to get rid of them somehow.
I don't get it.
We all do foolish things sometimes, don't we?
Hey, look, Johnny. When you get one of your spells, anything could have happened to you. You might have killed her.
No, Mike.
You've lied so much already, I don't know what to believe.
I didn't. I'm getting out of here.
Oh, you sap. It's the worst thing you can do. Sit down.
You don't know what they did to me down at headquarters. I can't take any more of that. The reason they let me go is because I didn't have anything on me then. But now... Oh, Mike, help me. Give me a